Hello everyone, this is SWTOR Snoopy here, back with another video. Today, I'm going to be answering the age-old question. Can a player solo an operation boss? I know that this question sounds a little confusing, so just let me explain. I recently got a lockout to the Oasis City encounter on Scum and Villainy story mode. This is an operation encounter where players must kill groups of elite enemies and then eventually fight a main operation boss. I wanted to test a theory and see if it would be possible to solo an operation boss, or at least some parts of it. The results of this testing is this video. I think we all know that soloing an operation boss seems impossible, and I won't lie, it probably is. But this video will show you just how far one can go to try and kill an operation boss alone. With that being said, let's test this theory and see how much we can break this game. Alrighty guys, so here we go. Now before we get to the actual boss fight, it's important to show some footage of fighting the trash mobs. Here's what happens when you try to solo trash mobs head on. Here's what happens when you bring a friend and start kiting due to overwhelming damage. Here's what it looks like to succeed at fighting mobs. More dying, still dying, and stop. My friend Caboose has switched to a stealther. Very sneaky. This is how I was able to get to the Oasis City boss sequence and to continue forward. It would be possible to two-man or solo all of these mobs, but it already takes a ton of time as it is. Now that we have all that covered, it's time to see the boss battle. Can I solo an operation boss? Let's find out. Alrighty guys, let's jump into this right now. So I do want to give a huge shout out to my friend Caboose. He was the one that helped me take down some of the trash mobs leading up to this, and also the stealthing to the boss fight. So I'm going to give a quick little rundown or a little background information for this particular attempt. So this was my third attempt at trying to take down these boss fights, or at least taking down this operation boss. This will show just about everything in this attempt about what I'm just going to do. I ran into some issues with these guys, which is why this is my third attempt. But these guys pack quite a punch. There's 10 minutes to complete this whole entire encounter, and the goal was, of course, to succeed. Try to complete the whole operation boss and be very victorious. So right here, I'm just playing the LOS game because these guys hurt quite a bit. I am 270 something roughly at the time of this recording, so I didn't have the best gear, and these guys hurt quite a bit. If I did have better gear at the time, it would probably help with taking down these guys quicker and taking less damage, but we just aren't going to worry about that. As you can see in the chat, I am talking to my friend Caboose because we did do some other runs before, and there is this mechanic with the final boss where he would accidentally lock on to my stealthing friend. And once again, I know that this is soloing an operation boss, and he is here to watch and view, so we realized we want to make this as legit as possible. So his goal is to stand on the other edge of the map so he doesn't get targeted by the operation boss. So it's just purely me soloing it rather than someone taking some damage and kind of giving me a slight, or I guess kind of like a slight aid in trying to solo. So right here we are moving on to another group of elite mobs. With this operation boss fight, as I quickly mentioned in the intro, you have to fight these actually kind of like these mini bosses first. And then after you take down the mini bosses, you eventually take on the main operation chief and try to take him down. So these guys hurt an insane amount, and especially with the new level sync system, these guys do quite a bit more damage compared to the past patch. So my main goal is to be extra careful. So I'm utilizing defensives, trying to time things carefully. So we're going to take down that guy right there. Just going to continue to heal, and my main goal is to try and clear this whole entire section in about 10 minutes. Because if you notice, there is a debuff in my character tray where we have 10 minutes to complete this whole entire section of killing these mini bosses, or if we don't do it in time, then we will fail. Now, most people go to a mini boss where I'm currently standing, but this group was very difficult to take on without all my defensives or off cooldown. So I decided to move on to another section of this fight. So this next section is a couple guys that do some AoE damage. They aren't too bad to deal with. So I said, you know what? I'm going to try to take down these guys, utilize no defensives, and then move on to that other group. So for right here, these guys are actually very simplistic, not hard to take down at all. All you have to do is kite them around and not really, or just be very careful. You just try to kite them around and not fight them head on. And it works out pretty well. I mean, as you can see with this footage, I'm jumping around, I'm keeping away from that disgusting AoE, and I am staying alive. So the main goal with this is to stay away, DPS them down, and hopefully not use any defensives, because I'm saving those for the final little mini boss section that I skipped. And you'll see why I need all my defenses very soon, because that last mini boss section is very, very difficult. It is not easy whatsoever. You have to be on your toes and very careful, because with this last mini boss section, you have a healer that will heal the other boss. And then also you have a really strong DPS guy that can kill you super quickly. So I'm going right back to that mini boss section. I'm going to wait for all my cooldowns to finish. So I am ready to go. I'm just mainly waiting on my adrenaline rush since it seems to be the best thing to do. So once again, healing back up, just waiting down that timer. There's not much you can do here. This is just what is necessary. I'm also not cutting the footage as well because I just wanted to show the raw footage, the raw attempt, just nothing filtered out. So healing back up, once again, kind of figuring out my strategy because I know that this could go wrong. And in my first attempt on this boss fight, I wiped on these guys. And if you screw up and you aren't careful, these guys can kill you insanely fast. So my goal here is to kill the medic as quick as possible, do everything in my power, and then utilize defensives, interrupts, everything I can. So once again, as you can see, we are trying to interrupt his med techs, his little scanning droids. Interrupt, interrupt, interrupt. That is the name of the game, my friends. So we're going to say, see you later, bro. We're going to move on to the little DPS guy. And at this point, I was pretty confident. I had a lot of health. I knew this guy was going to be taken out just like that. And now that all of the mini bosses are done, it's time to go to the Operation Chief. And I assume most of you will know what the outcome of this is going to be. Like, taking on this guy head on is probably the worst idea anyone could do. And you're right, it really is the worst thing you could do. But once again, this is what was required. We had to see if we could solo this operation boss. So there's this enforcer droid right here. With this encounter, you also don't want to aggro these guys as they will start to kill you. So I'm just talking in the chat, letting my friend know what's happening, what's going to end up going on. Because this boss does have rail turrets. So the main issue that we're running into is that the rail turrets would target my stealthing friend. And once again, I wanted this to be a legit solo, so I didn't want to have him interfere in any way whatsoever. We had to make this as clear and efficient as possible. So I'm just waiting, just continuing to wait it out. And then I'm just going to move on. This is the meat of the video. And I'm not going to lie, it's probably, or no, you know what? It's really just going to go the way you guys think it's going to go. But it is something that should be shown. This is the goal of the video, of course, is to see, can we solo an operation boss? And here we finally have made it. We've done a good amount of it solo, but we have to try and take this guy head on. So I told my friend I'm pulling, and let's begin. So getting prepared, and there we go. So this guy has a lot of special abilities, and I knew right away I would not be able to kill this guy right on just with a 1v1. So I was going to run out of the arena, and as you will see, running out of the arena gets rid of those rail turrets that started to shoot me. So I thought that I could possibly play this game of just running back and forth at killing the rail turrets. And it looked for the most part that it was working out. I could just continue to run back and forth while taking absurd amount of damage. Because, once again, I mean, you can see right there, I am just dying so quick. But I assumed that I could just run back and forth and it would work out. But as you'll see, that was kind of wrong. And, I mean, it's pretty obvious what's going to happen now. But I thought I could just continue to cheese the fight like this. And that didn't happen. And then what eventually happened in that footage was I started to die. So when you fail the operation encounter, those droids that I was avoiding, they all start to spawn in rapidly and then they kill you. So after that, I kind of realized that it was a bust trying to kill the operation boss. But you know what? It was a good time and it was worth the experiment, or rather just the theory, to see how far you could go with soloing an operation boss. So as we can see, soloing an operation boss was a fail. But it does show that certain sequences can be cheesed for this particular fight. It also means that certain aspects of operation bosses can be soloed, but completely taking down an operation boss on level is very unlikely. I know I said it in the boss fight footage, but I do want to thank my friend Caboose again for helping with this video. Without his stealthing and support, this video would have taken a lot longer to record. Anyways, I hope you guys found this video entertaining. If you did, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.